Hi guys, this is Ms.Hong. Today is May 13, Wednesday, Learn Day. So I checked your homework for yesterday and it looks okay. But the thing is, I put the wrong question. So number 2 and 4, that was arithmetic sequence, but we didn't do the arithmetic sequence explicit and recursive form. So that's why in the afternoon, don't do number 2 and 4. I said just do 1, 3, and 5. But most of you did all the problem, but I just ignored 2 and 4. Okay, so that explicit form and recursive formulas only for the geometric sequence, and 2 and 4 were not geometric sequence. So that's why I delete the problem. Okay, and so I found popular error you made. So I think I need to go over recursive form, because most of you got confused about it. And explicit form, that's good. Like if you submit the work, you answered it correctly. So tomorrow I'm gonna send out the feedback to each student, so you can check your work tomorrow. But I just checked your work today. I just look at it and then I just realized that there's some error on the recursive form, and some of you put substitute the wrong number to the explicit form. So for example, this is AR, right? A times R to the n minus 1. And some of you found A and R correctly, but you put it like this, like R and A to the n minus 1. So I will fix it on your homework and I'll return it. So check your work. All right. So anyway, we will use those things today, and then I'm going to do some review first. All right. So this is f of x is 2x minus 1. That's the function, right? And find f of 2. How do we get function value when you have a function? We substitute the number, right? We substitute the number into x. So f of 2 equals, look, your x and x here, that turned to 2. So we need to make it 2, right? So 2 times by 2 minus 1. So will be, that's 4 minus 1, which is 3, right? So you know how to get the function value. And what about this one? H of x is 2 to the x power 2. You see that? X is over here. So for that one, h of 4, then what? Instead of x, we put 4, right? So that's 2 to the power of 4, right? And will be 16. So we will use some properties like that. And look at this. Find explicit and recursive formula for the sequence. So 5, 10, 20, 40, 80, right? We need to get the pattern. So from 5 to 10, what do? Times by 2, right? 10 to 20, you times by 2. 20 to 40, you do 2. You do the same thing. So your pattern's what? Multiplied by 2. So that is geometric sequence. And my first term is 5, right? And my R, common ratio is 2, right? So I got this 2. And I want to write my recursive form. Then you should have this, Bianelli. You should have this one. A n equals, because you didn't write this. You just have right side only. But that's supposed to be, this is equal to what you're using, common ratio only, right? So 2 times a n minus 1, like this. Okay? And what we have to have the first term. So I'm going to write that one. A1 equals 5. Okay? So, hold on. I'm going to use other color. So like this. Okay? So this is my recursive form. And I'm gonna write my explicit form. Explicit form is a, come on, a of n equals my first, right? This is the formula, my initial, which is 5 times my ratio to the n minus 1. This is my explicit form. So for that one, you don't have to have your initial because that's already included, all right? Because you already have your initial here, so you don't have to write it. So this is my recursive, and this is my explicit form, okay? So we did this one yesterday. And I'm gonna combine function value and then explicit formula, okay? So today we will do this, guys. Finding nth term of geometric sequence using explicit formula. Okay, we will do this one. So nth term, that means that could be 5, that could be 10, that could be 100, whatever number. So like you have this kind of sequence, right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know up to A5, right? But what if I want to know 200th term? I want to know what is 200th. Then how can I get it? You're not multiplying 200 times, right? So there's like kind of shortcut using explicit form. So look at this, guys. For example, if I'm using this, then we already know explicit form is a sub n is 5 times 2 to the n minus 1, right? What if I want to know a like 15? Let's make it like a little smaller. Then what? I want to know a 15, so I will make this n 15. Do you see it? Same thing. You change your x to 2 to get the function value. Look at this. N to 15, right? Then what? Do you see this? Here's n. There's another n, right? If you change this, you need to change that. Alright? So it's like a function. So a sub 15, then 5 times 2 to the what? 15 minus 1. So will be 5 times 2 to the 14th power. These numbers are so big, so I'm not going to find it. I will leave the number like that. Okay? And if you want to get the answer, you're supposed to use a calculator for this. Alright? So we are doing this one, guys. So once you get your explicit form, we can substitute the number into n. You can get specific term. Alright? So we are doing this. So look. Sequences, what? Sequences of function with positive integer domain. So when it's a sequence and function only differences. For sequence, we use only integer value because it's first, second, third terms, right? That's the term number. There's no 2.5 term, right? We cannot use those numbers, or there's no radical 3 terms, right? So we just use counting number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your domain for the sequence is positive integer only. And for the function, actually, you can, I just put 2 and 4, but you can also do square root of f of square root of 2. That's fine. You can just put the square root of 2 into x, right? So that's the only difference. So you can think sequences of function, but you're using only integer domain, integer x values, integer n values, all right? So let's look at this. So that was actually your 1, 3, and 5 on the homework, right? That was your homework. So we are checking homework and we are doing something new. So this is the something new for today, cause right, this is the something new. We're getting like 30 is term, but that could be like whatever number. I put 30 here, but that could be 50, that could be 20, that could be 15, whatever you like, right? So let's check this. So recursive formula and explicit formula, before we do it, we need to identify A and common ratio R, right? So my A, look, my A, which is my first one, which is 1, right? My A is 1, and my R, common ratio, then look, 1 to 3, 3 to 9, 9 to 27, so that's what? Times by 3, times by 3, times by 3, right? So R is 3. And recursive form, we do this. A n equals A n minus 1, right? And then you just have what? Your common ratio here, which is 3. And we just indicate first term like this. Okay, that's the recursive form, right? An explicit formula. an equals what? ar to the n minus 1. A, which is 1, r to the n minus 1, like this. So this is my explicit formula. And 30 is term. I want to get 30. Then what? The question asks you, oh, find a30, right? And to get a30, what? You put 30 into n. So 1 times 3 to the 30 minus 1. So will be 1 times 3 to the 29, right? And this 1 times by, that's nothing. You multiply by 1, you get the same thing again, right? So you can just say it 3 to the 29. That's it. Alright? And then let's look at number 2. This one, that was my sequence. So we have to identify A and R, right? So my A first term, which is 1, right? And my R, look, 1 to 2, negative 2, right? So your R is supposed to be a negative number. And look at the number 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8. It's times by 2, right? But your signs alternating, which means signs changing, positive, negative, positive, negative. So your R is supposed to be negative number, all right? And then recursive formula. So we don't change that one. an equals something times an minus 1. We don't change that, right? This position, you put your common ratio. So put negative 2 for this. Then you're done for the recursive. a1 equals 1, right? So guys, you need to memorize this, all right? Memorize the format. An explicit formula. an equals ar to the n minus 1, right? a r to the n minus 1. So that's my explicit formula. And 30 is term. So 30, so we get a30 again. Then you do 1 times negative 2 to the 30 minus 1, right? So 1 times negative 2 to the 29, right? So will be negative 2 to the 29, because 1 is like nothing. Can you get rid of this parentheses? No, because like negative, right? And then odd power. So actually that's same as negative 2 to the 29, like that. But what if that was even? Then you need to get rid of this negative number. So like safely, we do not do anything. Just keep it like that, all right? And the last one, I have like 1 minute left. So my A is 400. And when you look at this, do you see it? It's getting half. So my R is half, right? And then recursive formula, an equals 1 over 2 an minus 1. And you write your initial, which is 400, okay? And then explicit formula, an equals a r to the n minus 1, right? So I want to get 30, then what? You put 30 into n. You put 30 into n, so 30 minus 1, like this. Then this is 400 times 1 over 2, 30 minus 1, 29. So just keep it like this. Alright? That's it, guys. That's all for today. So on Thursday, I'm gonna give you like exactly same type of question, just like this. Alright? So if you have any question, text me. And please submit your work. Oh, lesson quiz. Ms. Ross has 2 younger brothers. So my lesson quiz for today is, how many brothers does Ms. Ross have? 2. Alright? So please answer that correctly. And have a great day, and see you on Friday. Bye-bye.